I want to bring in Olivia Troye, who's Mike Pence's former Homeland Security and Terrorism advisor. She worked closely with the former vice president on many classified matters. It's good to see you again, Olivia.
Great to see you. Great to be with you tonight, Chris.
So first, give us a tutorial on the issue, and then we'll do the application specifically to Pence. Why and when do we care about classified documents being in a former leader's garage?
Well, because as they're classified documents, they're supposed to be stored properly. There is important information there that is intelligence operations. It could be pointing to sources and methods, which are people serving in our intelligence community. It can also reveal operations that are going on overseas that people have worked decades to develop and to work on. And look, it's critical that we protect this information because it's not only just, it's not some random document with typing on it. It's actually lives. It could be lives on the line. And so it matters who reads it, who accesses it. It matters where it's stored. It matters who comes across it. And so for many reasons, this is why we go to secured classified facilities. And that's where these documents are supposed to be stored. There's offices, there's safes. Sometimes, depending on the level of classification, and I'm not sure what level of classification these documents were, there's a safe within the SCIF, right, as we call it.
Right,
so it's like a safe within the safe within a building.
Right, but it depends, like you said. The key is, well, what are the documents? And my suspicion, skepticism, not cynicism, is if Trump had some really bad stuff in his basement, we would know. Dangerous stuff, sensitive stuff. If Biden did, we would know by now, because we know how these things leak. Right? And they would leak the information. We haven't heard anything. We'll see. We'll give it a little time with Biden. I made a joke that even though they have libraries, wait for every former president and living vice president to have odd fires in their backyards over the next few days, because I'm sure a lot of these guys wind up having things taken out of their homes that they're not completely aware of, and they were in a rush and it wasn't really vetted. Now, specific to the former vice president, he was very concerned about Joe Biden having these documents and what it could have meant. Maybe we need another special counsel just for this. Do you think he feels the same about himself?
Well, I'm sure he's reevaluating his talking points now in retrospect. But look, fair is fair. And I think there'll probably be an investigation. There should be, because we should be finding out how did they end up there, what happened, were they lumped into personal things, were they lumped with other documents? Likely so. Likely it was staff packing it up who just didn't go page by page. And so we should figure out how that happened, and we should make sure that it doesn't happen again. But I think, that speaks to the greater picture is, yes, perhaps there should be a special counsel to figure out what happened here, and he should accept that, and right is right. Right? We should follow that process. But I think the bigger problem here is, at this point, it's like, who doesn't have classified documents? And really the accountability and the accounting for and the system is off, because it's supposed to be self-reporting, right? It's supposed to be people who are paying attention and sifting through the documents. But clearly this keeps happening at senior levels. And so obviously we're doing something wrong.
Yeah, see, I think it's about the we, not the me on this one. I think the system that this is done by is clearly flawed. You got both parties, different offices, and these are just the ones we bothered to check on. Right? And I see it reeking of politics. If you want to fix it, fix the chain of custody. It's easy enough. Let's look at what the libraries do. They're probably doing it better. Knowing Mike Pence and working with him the way you did, do you have any concerns about whether he would want to compromise America's national security?
No, never. I mean, look, you can disagree with his politics. You may not agree with his stances on certain issues. But I can tell you this, it was night and day in the White House on how intelligence briefings were handled. He treated his national security team respectfully. He certainly was respectful to me. He understood the importance of intelligence. He understands military operations, intelligence operations. He has people in his own family that have served in the military. So I just don't see him doing this willfully. I do think this was probably a mistake. And look, they're being forthcoming. They're cooperating. They've acknowledged it, that they've self-reported it. And now, I guess we consider what the next steps will be. But I don't think that this is something where he would have done this maliciously. I just don't see that.
Hey, thank you for watching. Please go to newsnationnow.com, newsnationnow.com, and you can find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button down below. Then you will get more of News Nation's fact-driven coverage.